The first gunshot echoed across Bondi Beach, a sharp crack that instantly shattered the easy hum of a summer evening. It was the 14th of December and families were gathered celebrating Hanukkah by the sea in Archer Park. Children were laughing, the smell of food trucks hung in the air, and then in a terrifying blink the world changed. Within a harrowing 30 seconds, two gunmen emerging from the twilight had opened fire, hitting 11 people. 10 of them would not survive. This wasn't just a random act of violence, this was a targeted attack against Jewish Australians, and the sheer speed and brutality of it would rip through the community, leaving an indelible scar on the nation's psyche. The victims were everyday Australians drawn from the vibrant Jewish community that calls Sydney's eastern suburbs home. There was Michael, a retired schoolteacher from Dover Heights, known for his gentle humor and the meticulous way he tended his rose garden. Sarah, a young architect from Randwick, had just started her own practice and was excitedly telling her parents about a new project. There were families, parents and children, out to enjoy a festive evening, their lives intertwined in the ordinary rhythm of suburban Sydney. Bondi, with its iconic sands and bustling promenade, represents a quintessential Australian dream. Sun, surf and a diverse, accepting community. These weren't people embroiled in shadowy dealings or high-stakes corporate battles. They were just living their lives, enjoying a public holiday celebration in a public park, believing themselves safe in their own country. The horror of that night wasn't just about the gunfire, it was about the shattering of that fundamental Australian belief in a fair go, in the right to gather peacefully without fear. The Hanukkah by the Sea event was a beloved annual tradition, a beacon of light and community spirit. Organizers from the Community Security Group, acutely aware of global tensions and the need for vigilance, had formally requested a static police presence from New South Wales Police for the entire duration of the celebration. They understood the importance of visible security, of a reassuring uniform presence. But the request, as the Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism and Social Cohesion would later hear, was declined. Instead, New South Wales Police opted for mobile tasking, instructing officers to attend the event from time to time. It was a decision that would be scrutinized with forensic detail. As the two gunmen, their faces obscured, began their terrifying assault, 4 police officers were by chance at Archer Park. But even their immediate presence couldn't stem the tide of such swift, brutal violence. The first shots rang out just after 7:15 p.m. Witnesses described a scene of utter chaos, a stampede of screaming people, the metallic smell of gunpowder and the horrific thud of bodies falling. The attackers moved with chilling efficiency, their intent clear, their targets chosen. The sheer speed of the attack was almost incomprehensible. 11 people shot in less than half a minute. Among the victims were not only community members but also 3 police officers who bravely engaged the shooters, sustaining injuries in the process. The emergency services response was rapid, but the damage was already done within 5 minutes. 11 police officers were on the scene. The first shooter was neutralized, shot and killed, and the second was apprehended within 7 minutes and 41 seconds of the first shot. The immediate threat was over, but the reverberations had just begun. The sandy expanse of Bondi, usually a symbol of vibrant life, was now a crime scene stained with tragedy. The aftermath quickly shifted from immediate crisis to a deep, painful inquest. The Prime Minister announced a Royal Commission into Anti-Semitism and Social Cohesion abroad mandate designed to unpick not just the incident itself, but the wider societal currents that might have contributed to such an atrocity. The public hearings held in Sydney became a centerpiece for national introspection. The community security group's testimony was particularly poignant. They presented evidence of their repeated requests for enhanced security, highlighting the specific concerns they had raised prior to the event. The Royal Commission heard detailed evidence about the communication between the security group and New South Wales Police, including the formal written requests and the rationale behind the police decision for a mobile tasking rather than a static presence. Expert witnesses including counter-terrorism specialists and criminologists provided analysis of the attack methodology, the psychological impact on the community, and the broader context of extremist ideologies. The legal arguments were not about culpability in the traditional sense of a criminal trial but about systemic failures, policy decisions, and the adequacy of intelligence. Families of the victims, their faces etched with grief, sat in the public gallery listening to every detail, every minute of testimony. The core question for the Commission was whether more could have been done to prevent the tragedy, and how Australian institutions from law enforcement to community organisations could better protect vulnerable groups. The emotional weight in the hearing room was palpable as lawyers meticulously presented timelines, security assessments and communication logs, all building a picture of the moments leading up to, during and immediately after those horrific 30 seconds. The Royal Commission's hearings are ongoing, designed not to find individual criminal guilt but to provide a comprehensive understanding and recommendations for the future. The initial findings presented to the Commission paint a stark picture: the speed of the attack, the targeted nature of the violence, and the critical decisions made regarding security provision. The exact dollar figure of compensation or the final legal ruling won't be the immediate outcome in the way it might be in a civil dispute heard at VCAT or NCAT. Instead, the resolution here is a deeper, more profound one: a national reckoning. The Commission's final report is anticipated to make wide-ranging recommendations concerning intelligence sharing, police protocols, community engagement, and measures to combat anti-Semitism and foster social cohesion across Australia. It's expected to address how the Privacy Act 1988 interacts with information sharing for security purposes, how state work health and safety laws might apply to ensuring safety at public events, and the role of the Ombudsman in overseeing police operations. Justice in this context isn't a simple win or loss, it's about acknowledging the profound failure, learning from it and enacting systemic change to prevent future tragedies. It's about striving for a future where the promise of a fair go of safety in public spaces is not just an aspiration but a lived reality for all Australians. This tragic incident at Bondi Beach is a stark reminder for all Australians about the insidious nature of targeted violence and the constant need for vigilance and robust institutions.